Hello, everybody, and welcome to Guitar Chat. Here we are again, Guitar Chat number 37. This is amazing. We're here another Thursday, as usual, and this time in English, as probably you've noticed by now. Here we are sharing the wisdom and the experiences that all our guests share with us, and I'm very happy to have that, to being able to witness all these conversations because I'm learning a lot, and hopefully you guys at the other side of the screen are learning as well. Today we have a real treat as usual, and of course this thing it's very convenient for you to be subscribed to our YouTube channel because there are some perks of if you do that. For instance, every program we give away one VT1 Vegatrem. Oh, I forgot to say, as I always say, Vegatrem is brought to you by Guitar Chat is brought to you by Vegatrem, the best tremolo systems in the market for sure. And to show you our gratitude to you guys, we give away every program. We give away one VT1. So there's that. So I'm gonna say the name of the winner of the last Guitar Chats. So the winner is Moises Gonzalez Cabrera. Congratulations, Moises. You are the winner. So we're gonna get in touch with you to send it to you. Congratulations, you've won. So if you guys wanna be the winners as well, that's the only thing you have to do. You have to be subscribed to our YouTube channel and leave a comment during this interview. That's the only two things you need to do in order to enter to this giveaway. Also, we have a discount code that probably I'm gonna say further into the interview. With that discount, you can go to our website and put that code, and you get a pretty cool discount, which is very nice as well. And you can use it for maybe more than one tremolo, maybe 2, 5, 10, whatever you want to buy. You can use it and you're gonna get that discount, which is very nice as well. So let's talk about today's guest. This week on Guitar Chat, we have one of the most demanded luthiers and guitar builders in the LA area, Mr. Fren Asken. His work has the credit of a long list of huge names in the music industry and guitar celebrities such as Arctic Monkeys, Coldplay, Devin, Townsend, Greta, Guns N' Roses, Ingber, our friend Ira, Neil Diamond, Nickelback, Richie, Sambora, Robertson, Hodgson from Supertramp, Smashing Pumpkins, Steve Stevens from the Billy Idol's band, Saint Vincent, DeMartini, Ratt, Wayne Kramer from MC5, and many more. Also, his own creations, Asken guitars, have appeared reviewed in magazines such as Premier Guitar, Guitar Player, Guitar World, Guitar.com, and Music Radar. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Fren Asken. How you doing, Fren? Here we are.
How are you?
Very good, very good. Thanks for being with us today, man. I know it's kind of early, right? In LA, you're based in LA, right?
Yeah, I'm in West Los Angeles.
West Los Angeles. Okay, that's where you have your workshop and you live there. Are you born and raised there?
I'm sorry?
Were you born in LA, in Los Angeles?
I was born in Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut. Okay.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Connecticut. I grew up I was lucky enough to grow up in a musical family.
Okay.
And I've been playing guitar since I was about 6 years old, and I've been messing with things ever since I can remember. So
that's very nice.
It was a natural progression to start working on guitars when I was in junior high.
Oh, okay. So tell me a little bit about your family. You just told me you grew up in a musical family. Your parents are musicians, maybe they were musicians. They were involved in the music industry.
I have a lot of musicians in my family. There were a bunch of professional ones. I have my mother's sister was a professional touring bassoonist for 40 years.
Nice. Okay, so classical, right?
Yeah, classical musicians. My great aunt was a concert pianist back in the 1930s. I have three cousins who grew up out here, who all ended up being first chair classical musicians. They're all just like cream of the crop players.
Wow, that's amazing. So we're not talking about just just playing in front of the fireplace. I mean, we're talking about serious career musicians.
Yeah, when we were growing up, I mean, my parents belonged to a community orchestra, and I played cello in a community orchestra, the kids' community orchestra, and occasionally our family would go out and perform. Actually, articles. I just saw an article. Somebody sent me an article from the paper from like 1970 something, from when I was a little kid, and when my family performed at a church.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're very proud of your musical heritage, right?
It was a great thing to be able to grow up in that kind of an atmosphere.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah. So do you play classic music at all? Because I know you play some. You really have some serious jazz chops. But do you play some classical things as well?
You know, it's a funny thing. I never liked classical guitar very much.
Oh, okay.
I played other classical instruments, and for some reason, classical guitar didn't resonate with me. Whereas
Okay.
I heard rock and roll, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play electric guitar is what I wanted to do.
Oh,
And
that's
and then the more I got into it, the more I started to jazz, and so I started learning a lot more about jazz and studying that kind of stuff when I was a teenager.
nice. But I mean, your first incursion into like popular music was rock and roll before jazz, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I was little, I had older sisters, so I would listen to the Who, and I would listen to the Beatles and Joni Mitchell, and uh, other kind of 70s stuff like that. Crosby, Stills, Nash, you know.
Uh-huh. That's
And then it just turned
yeah.
into all sorts of other stuff. I heard Ted Nugent, and I was like, that's the
Okay.
guitar sound that I want. You know. So I started really getting into that kind of stuff. I got into some southern rock, and I got into a lot of more progressive guitar players like Alan Holdsworth and Al Di Meola, Larry Coryell, people like that.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's more sophisticated, right? That's the thing starts getting more complicated, right? When you start, listening to Alan Holdsworth for sure. That's pretty complicated, I would say, right?
Yeah, that starts to get into more complicated stuff. But people like Jeff Beck and people like David Gilmour made huge impressions on me.
Yeah. Got it. Well, of course, I mean they're masters of their craft, and I mean they're still today they're still relevant. So I'm pretty sure back in the day it was even more impressive, right? Because right now you can see a lot of people who are influenced by them, but back in the day when they showed up, right, probably would have been like a revolution, right?
Pretty much. I mean, there weren't a lot of people back then doing such progressive stuff. At least for me, I there were great players back in the late '60s and the early '70s who I really enjoyed. And when I started getting into it, it was already the mid '70s by the time I started really getting into that stuff. But I must have been about 13 or 14 when I started exploring
Uh huh.
jazz players, you know.
Oh, so you were pretty young, you know, you were pretty young because normally what happens, at least maybe here in Spain, it's different, but you know, when you start with rock and roll, like playing guitar and rock and roll's like your main influence, you don't get into jazz into until you're way into your maybe early 20s or something like that, or maybe late 20s. I don't know. At least that was my experience.
You know, I think that when I was a kid, we had the Time Life Swing era record collection. They would send to us every month. They'd send us another record from a different era of
Okay.
swing, from the 20s, the 30s, 40s.
Uh-huh.
So I would listen to all that stuff, and I'm sure that had an influence to some degree on the kind of music that I was enjoying. Growing up with classical music and growing up with swing music, I think my ear was a little bit more in tune with more complicated harmonies.
Yes, makes sense. That makes sense.
So when I started taking lessons, I started taking lessons with a guy named Bruce Bednarski when I was about 12 years old, and he started teaching me all sorts of jazzy kind of stuff. He taught me lots of chords, scales, chord progressions, and he was taking lessons with a guy named Link Chamberlain, who is a kind of a legend in my area.
Okay.
In the tri-state area, actually. And
okay.
And he had a 1.5 year waiting list, this guy. And then I ended up taking, when I was about 15, I started taking lessons with another student of this guy, Link, named Pete Snell, who is out here in Los Angeles, actually. He used to play with oh shoot, I forgot his name right now. Anyways, he came out and started playing professional gigs, but when he came out here, he left me his spot with Link Chamberlain.
Okay.
So instead of having to wait a 1.5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you were luckier.
And I had heard Link's album when I was 14 years old, and it was amazing. It was he was an incredible, very kind of hardcore jazz stuff. And my ear didn't really understand it when I first heard it, but there was something that was so attractive about it. I had to keep listening, and I literally kept flipping the record over and over and over until one day something made sense in my ear.
Something clicked,
like,
right?
Oh, I get it now. I
yeah.
Get it on. And then every time I would flip the record, another thing would make sense on the album. And
sorry, friend, I can't hear you. I don't know. We have a problem with the audio. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay, let me do something. I'm gonna take you out of the screen for a minute. Okay, here we are with Mr. Fren Asken, guitar chat number 37. Let me see if we can fix the audio. Hello, Fren, can you hear me? No, we can't hear you. Let's do something, friend. Why don't you get out and go back in, see if we can fix that audio, because right now I can't hear you at all. Okay, guys, don't go anywhere. We're gonna keep going with this interview. Yeah. Well, here we are, Guitar Chat. We're talking with Mr. Fren Asken. He was telling us about his early years as a guitar player, how he started studying jazz. You know, how playing jazz at a very early age is so good for you as a musician. You know, that way you develop this great musicianship. And then we're gonna talk about how he started from being a guitar player to being a builder. Let's try now. Hello, Frank.
Right,
let's see if we can hear you. Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay.
We still have an issue with your audio. Yeah, but but at least we can hear you now. So let me ask you something, because you were saying something very interesting earlier. That feeling when you don't really get the music, but you feel attracted by it. That's very interesting, and you just explained it so well right now. Where you said that there was something that kept you going back to the record, back and forth to the record. Why do you think that happens?
I think that our ears become acclimated to different harmonies.
Okay.
And I think when I was listening to this album, there were so many things going on musically. There were a lot of, he was using a lot of altered scales, a lot of altered chords, and a lot of that stuff didn't really make sense to my ear.
Yeah.
But there was something that was very attractive about it.
Yeah.
Drew me to it, even though I couldn't really understand it. And the more I listened to it, I guess it's like learning a language or something. The more you listen, the more you learn. And the next thing I knew, after flipping the album 1,000 times, I started to understand where these chord progressions were going and what he was doing. And,
Yeah.
Which chords he was using. Oh, I'm listening to something. Oh my God, he's using the melodic minor scale. One of the modes in that scale. It's like.
So you, little by little, you were able to understand everything, right? To recognize all these sounds and all that stuff, right?
Well, it started to make some sense, and then I started taking lessons with him when I was 15, and a lot of it, he showed me where it all came from.
Got it.
Every lesson was like this mind-blowing experience because he was such a good teacher.
Nice.
I was really lucky to have him as a teacher, and every lesson I would go in would be something new. One lesson was just about how to intonate the guitar correctly, because I had an Ibanez jazz guitar, and I was putting a new saddle on it because I was a tinkerer, right? So I was putting a new saddle on it, and he showed me how to intonate it properly.
Okay.
So that was one of the lessons, and then the next lesson would be how to use a blues scale in any key, any type of situation, whether it's a minor scale, a minor key, a major key, or like a Lydian key, or who knows,
Nice. That's pretty interesting, man. I mean, I'm starting to understand a little bit how someone can develop all that vocabulary, because for me, I mean, when I see you play, I know how legit it sounds, because of course I don't have those that knowledge, but I'm pretty sure you did your homework,
I was dedicated when I was a teenager. I wanted to learn this stuff, so I spent a lot of time with it, which is why I learned it. But I'm still practicing every day.
Wow.
On new stuff. The more you know, the less you know, and that's just the way it is, right? So there's always something to work on.
That's right. Well, but that's very interesting as well. So let me tell you something, because and I promise this is the last question that well, no, maybe not the last one. Let's see, because this is pretty interesting to me. But would you say, in order to learn jazz, to learn to play jazz over the chord changes and all that stuff, would you say it's more important to learn all the theory, the scales, or the songs, the tunes, the actual tunes, and listen to the tunes?
I think that's basically where it comes from. We think about music and we think about music theory, and the music theory came from the music. So before there was music theory, there was music.
That's right.
So people wanted to make sense of the music somehow or another, so they created some sort of theory around it. They figured out what sounds good, or and how to use it. So
Yeah.
uh, I think that it's hard to say which comes first sometimes, because sometimes the theory will lead you to learn something new, and sometimes it's just your ears are guiding you, and so you have to balance between your instinct and your intellect when you're playing like that. And like
that's very
it's like playing anything,
yeah.
Any skill that you develop, you practice and you practice and you practice. And then when you actually go to do it, you forget everything. You just go on instinct because you've already learned it.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Otherwise, we would still be thinking about every note that we play. We would think about every word that we say. And letter in every word. We don't have time for that.
I'm pretty sure it would sound pretty bad. I mean, I can't.
I've got an air conditioner on. It's hard for me to hear.
Okay, no problem. Here we are, guitar chat numbers. Okay, nice. So I was thinking. I'm pretty sure Charlie Parker wasn't thinking, when he was, playing all those bebop lines and all those things, or John Coltrane or Miles Davis. All these guys, probably they were not thinking at all. They were just feeling it, right?
Well, they practiced it. They practiced and practiced and practiced until they didn't have to think about it anymore. Like when I'm playing jazz, I don't think about what key I'm playing, and I don't think about what notes I'm playing. I don't think about what chords I'm playing most of the time. I'm just using my ears at that point.
That's awesome.
Pretty much anybody can get to that point. Some people it takes a little longer to get to that point than others.
Yeah.
I felt like I was always kind of connected to the instrument as an improviser. I always felt like I had there was something inside that just I had something to say, I guess.
Yeah.
In that sense. And some people can develop it. I remember I was teaching. I used to go to this music camp in Canada when I was a kid, and there was this girl there who played flute. She was a classical flautist, and she was really good. She wanted to learn more about jazz, so I was trying to teach her about jazz, and I was just playing basically a bunch of chords in the key of C, like doing 2-5-1 progressions and stuff like that. And I said, just play a C major scale. That's it. Just go up and down the scale and figure that out. And it sounded like she was playing a scale while I'm going over all these chords, and something all of a sudden clicked. And she got it. It's like, oh, I can hear now, and it was like the light turned on in her head, and she understood what the providing was. It's really interesting to watch.
It is. It's pretty nice. I mean, when you teach someone, when you see that light bulb moment, it's so much fun. I get so happy every time I see that, because I know what it means. At least I remember what it meant to me, when I had those moments. I mean, I still have them, but not that often as when I was learning when I was a little kid, And I'm pretty sure for any teacher that's very, very interesting, very nice.
Yeah, exactly right. And we can get those feelings once in a while. In fact, just a few months ago, I was working on melodic minor chord scales, because I have that's a difficult thing. I'm trying to learn it, right? And all of a sudden I'm playing it. All of a sudden I realized what I was doing was something that I had heard on my old guitar teacher's album. Like, oh, that's what he was doing right there. Like 40 years later.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, man. That's so true. I totally get that. Well, I mean, this is very fun. This whole part of the conversation, talking about music theory. But I also want to talk about your job as a guitar builder, as a luthier. Because I mean, earlier when I was talking about you in the beginning of the show, I did some name dropping. And I mean, first of all, tell me how you started working as a luthier. How was that whole process of being a guitar player, from being a guitar player to being a luthier?
I have always been a tinkerer, and, and at some point, I think I was about 13 or 14, and I had a Fender Mustang.
Okay.
And I don't know where I got it, but I had a humbucker pickup. And I wanted to put the humbucker in the Fender Mustang.
Okay.
And being a fearless idiot, I got a hammer and a flathead screwdriver, and I just chopped out the wood.
Woo!
Until there was enough room to put the pickup. And what I realized was after I did that, after I chopped out the wood, the L tabs on the pickup that you adjust the height with,
Yes.
they
Yeah.
were too deep. So I had to bend the whole, I had to bend out sideways like this. So instead of having two pickup adjustment
Yeah.
pieces here, they were like way out here somewhere. But it worked,
Well, the question is, do you still have that guitar?
No, I don't have that guitar.
Okay. Okay.
That was basically the start of it, and then I started making my own nuts and saddles for acoustic guitars and doing my own setups, and kind of figuring out the things that I liked that made the guitar player better for me.
Yes.
And I just did it for myself for a very long time.
So you did it for yourself, but how did you start, like, working on other people's guitars? Maybe some of your friends, they were asking you how to change the nut or something like that.
Yeah. I was always working on my friends' guitars, and
Okay.
20 years ago, I was doing web development. I was building websites. I worked for Stan Lee, the comic book guy, for a while, working on his website with a team. But I was kind of getting sick of it, and all my friends were always asking me to fix guitars. And so I just decided, I was thinking I wanted something else to do.
Got it.
So I said, why don't I do this? All I need, I just need to up my game a bit. I just need to learn some more things. But I already know this, at least. It's not like I have to learn a whole new career.
Got it. Yeah. Because you grew up around musical instrument your whole life as well, right?
Yeah, and also I was always working on guitars since I was a teenager.
Okay.
When I was 19, I was working at a music store in Boston called E. Wurlitzer, and they were like the biggest music store in Boston at the time, I think. And they had a really good repair shop, and they had parts, and I ended up buying a neck and a body and some other parts and putting it together, and that was my guitar for a while. When I was 19. It was a Schecter neck and a DeMartini body. And I still have those, and they still work great. And I
nice.
That guitar, I scalloped the fretboard. I put on a Floyd Rose. I routed it out so I could put different pickup combinations. I drilled holes in it so it looked like somebody went at it with a machine gun. I just did everything to it. I just started changing the shape of the body, and it was just a fun little project, and it kind of, I guess, helped me. A lot of stuff. So
yeah, so you could learn a lot of things, right, out of working with that guitar, right?
Yeah, so I was working working on that one, and I was always putting bits and pieces together. When I first moved out here, it was sometime in the mid 1980s, and I wanted to put a guitar together.
Okay.
So at that time, Guitar Center was selling necks and bodies.
Oh, okay. Nice.
They were selling Chandler, like Paul C, I guess was the brand name. So I bought a Paul C neck, which I still have in the back room.
Oh,
and I
okay.
couldn't find a decent body anywhere. And Schecter was in Van Nuys at the time, which is right down the street from where I was living. So I called them on the phone. I said, "Do you mind if I come down and look at some bodies? I can't find a selection of bodies anywhere. Can I pick one from the factory?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, sure, okay." So I go down there, and my friend and I went down there, and I bought a beautiful Koa body. My friend bought a beautiful.
Oh, hello, friend. The sound is out again. Let me see if we can fix it. Okay, the sound's out again, friend. Let's do the same thing we did because we can't hear. Okay, now it's back. Now it's back. Yeah, it's back now. Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Because your connection's a little spotty sometimes.
Yeah, just try again. Yeah.
Okay, now we can hear you. Hello, friend. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Hello? Oh, okay. Well, let's wait a little bit. We're having some connection issues, but don't worry because we're gonna keep talking with Mr. Fren Asken. Here we are on Guitar Chat number 37. We're enjoying this conversation and learning a little more about Fren's career, his whole journey through guitar playing, jazz guitar playing. If you guys don't know him, I mean, he's a really, really legit, very deep jazz guitar player. But besides that, he has his own guitar company, and he works on guitars for many people, such as Arctic Monkeys, Devin Townsend, Greta, Van Fleet, and many others. Okay, here we have Fren back again. Okay, Fren, can you hear me?
Sorry about that.
No worries. Let's.
About the Koa guitar.
Yes. Keep going, please.
So the guy who sold me the guitar was actually Tom Anderson.
Tom Anderson, really?
Anderson guitar. He was working.
Nice.
At the time.
Okay.
So I started building my own guitars there. I started. I went through so many different pickup combinations. I was a real Steve Morse fan at the time.
Oh, okay. Putting all.
Yeah, I had like 4 pickups in the guitar with 3 switches, and doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Which is funny because now when I go play, it's just like 2 guitars and 2 pickups and a 3-position switch.
That's all right.
Seems like nothing to it anymore.
Well, I mean, but we all have our phases, right? Like different phases in which you like single coils or humbuckers, or you like playing acoustic more than electric, or it's pretty funny because let me ask you something. Would you rather have like many different guitars or just one guitar very versatile with which you can play many different styles?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was asking you, would you rather have like many different guitars, like for instance Strat, a Tele, a Les Paul, or Super Strat, something like that, or just one guitar with a lot of pickup combinations that can make all the sounds possible?
For me right now, anyway, and it's changed over the years. At one point, I wanted a guitar that could do everything, because I was playing in bands where I needed to get a lot of different sounds at the tip of my fingers quickly.
Yeah.
Because we go from one song to another. But lately, I'm kind of into real simple guitars that are a little bit more focused on what they do.
Uh-huh.
Although the guitar that I've been playing the most lately is one of my own builds that has P90 by Kinman.
Okay.
And it's just a volume tone and a 3-position switch. But it gets a lot of really great sounds with just that simple setup right there. And I also know that there are a lot of people who prefer one kind of pickup over another.
Yes.
And so the guitars that I build, I try to accommodate for that. So if someone is a Strat guy, for example, here I'll show you. Hang on one second.
Sure.
Okay, so if you're a Strat guy, you want to get the best Strat sounds that you can get and simulate your humbucker sound.
Yeah.
So I have a setup that I use like this.
Oh, nice.
2 single coils next to each other.
Okay.
And okay, so these are next to each other, and when you hit this push pot right here,
Yeah.
it bypasses the 5-position switch.
Okay.
And it goes straight to the humbucker, like these two.
Oh, nice. Okay, got it.
And when the push pot is off, it goes to a regular Strat with the 3 pickups, and that's it.
But the thing is that you have the humbucker diagonal, so that way when you have the single coil, you have the normal Strat position on the bridge, right?
Yes, exactly. So that you have your traditional Strat sounds, which are authentic.
Yeah.
Because you're using really nice pickups, right? And you're actually using single coils, and then you're simulating your humbucker sound. And this sounds great. It's a little bit more focused than a traditional humbucker, but it still sounds great. So if you're a Strat player, then this is what I would say. And if you're a humbucker player, what I do is I have 2 humbuckers, but I set it up so that the 2 and the 4 position, I use a 5-way switch, and the 2 and the 4 position are either the outside coils or the inside coils.
Got it.
So the inside coils is like a Strat, like the in-between sound on a Strat.
Yeah, like the 2 and 4.
Outside coils sounds like a Tele.
That's right. That's right.
And then you have your traditional dual humbucker sounds as well.
Yeah.
Humbucker person, that's the setup I recommend. And if you're a single coil person, this is the setup that would be mine, because I'm a Strat player fair and square. You know, I've been a Strat guy pretty much my whole life. I mean, I love humbucker guitars as well, but you know, Strat is the sound with which I'm most comfortable with most of the time. But I like having my humbucker on the bridge as well. You know, that's a must as well. I love them all. I have a 335 at home that I love. I have a Les Paul that I love. I have my own custom guitar that I built that has P90s that I love. I have a big jazz box that I love, and all of them do something different.
Of course, yeah. That's why we love guitars, because we love them all, right?
Yeah, and that was interesting. I was thinking about this not too long ago. Guitars are unlike just about any other instrument because people have an emotional attachment to the instrument itself.
Yeah.
Because of the way it looks, or its shape, or whatever it is. So, oboe players, they may have a favorite oboe.
Yeah,
but it's not because their wood is like curly maple and it's this shape and whatever. They love the instruments. There's something about the instruments themselves.
Yeah.
That, love. You see a curly maple top or a flame maple top or something like that, and with a sunburst, and this stuff is very visual. And we love that kind of a thing, So classical guitars, you may see 100 classical guitars, and they're just about all going to look very, very similar to each other. But when you
Uh-huh.
talk about electric guitars or more popular style guitars, the variations are so different, and that's why people buy different guitars a lot of the time, because of the way they look. That's why people buy
Yeah.
relic guitars.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. It's almost like a fetish, right? It's like a something that brings. You can also tell a little bit about your personality with the kind of guitar you play. It's the same thing as driving a car versus driving another car, right? It says a lot about yourself, right? When you have one guitar in front of the other. I mean, at least that's how I see it. Would you agree with that or not?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of the time people will pick an instrument by the way it looks. That's why you'll see so many people who buy instruments online, which I can't understand personally, because
Yeah.
I have to play a guitar. If I'm going to buy a guitar, I have to play it first. That's just me. But other people
Yeah.
look at a guitar online, they're like, "Oh my God, that's the most beautiful thing. I have to have it." And they order it. You know, they don't even know what they're getting. You know, it's like maybe they like it, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
I was just reading about one guy who you know, he bought the first guitar he ever really paid big money for was a Birdland, a Gibson Birdland.
Okay.
And he got the guitar, and it was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. And he didn't really like playing it that much, and he ended up selling it. It's like when I was a kid, I must have been about 14 or something, and I went to this dance, and there was a guy up there playing a Les Paul, and I looked at that Les Paul, and I was like, that is the sexiest guitar I have ever seen in my life. That is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Oh my God, I want one of those. And then when I finally got a Les Paul in my hand, I was like, I don't like this big butt up here. It's hard to get up on the high fret. I don't really like the way the neck is shaped. It's kind of digging into my arm over here.
Yeah.
And I didn't end up liking the instrument to play, but to look at, it's just like, oh my God, it's gorgeous, you know?
That's the thing. Yeah, well, that happens. That's totally normal. You know, that's why, and I agree with you. You know, I don't know how people can buy guitars without trying them first, because I mean, it's something so personal as well, right? I mean, the way the neck feels in your hand, the body, the sound, you know, the way it resonates and everything. You know, it's so important, right? Because otherwise, if you don't have that connection with the guitar, you're not gonna play it. You're not gonna be inspired by it.
Right. And this is what I was when I started building guitars. One of the things that I was thinking of was, you want a guitar that you don't even know it's there. You want a guitar that's
There you go.
comfortable. You're not thinking about it, because if something on the guitar is distracting you, you're not going to play as well as you normally would. If something's digging into your arm over here, you're thinking about that instead of what you should be thinking about. So
Yeah, that's
I
right.
make my guitars as comfortable as possible, as ergonomic as possible. And one of the things I do when I'm building a custom guitar for someone is I will have them come down to the shop when I'm like halfway through shaping the neck. And
Got
I'll
it.
have them sit down and play the guitar with like an unfinished neck,
Okay.
and say, what do you like? What do you not like? What would you like? And then I'll shape it on the spot for them, right there.
Uh-huh. Wow.
You know,
Okay.
I'm already down to the part where we're pretty close already. But I'm just
Got
getting
it.
like the little things so that when they put their hand on it, it's so comfortable. They're not thinking about it. You know, it's just it's like a natural extension of your body, you know.
I remember at NAMM show when I met you in 2019, right? When we met each other, I could play one of your guitars and it was amazing. I was blown away by the way it felt, you know. Also the sound, of course, but the feeling, you know, the way it plays, it was so much comfortable, man. It very very nice, very nice, very nice. Congratulations, because also the sound was amazing, and of course it had the Vegatrem on it as well,
Yeah.
which is a pretty nice thing, So you usually do that all the time when you build, like. I guess my question is, do you always build guitars for us with the specific instructions from the players, or do you also have your own models?
I have a couple of different models that I make.
Okay.
Some of them are commissions, and some of them are just ones that I'm building, and sooner or later someone will buy one.
Uh-huh.
But when I'm building them, I'm thinking about what I was just talking about, how comfortable it's going to be. So, for example, I think an asymmetrical neck shape is very comfortable. I personally like big fat necks.
Okay.
So I start out with a big fat neck when I build, and I know a lot of people don't like that as well. So I also make necks that are trimmer, but it uses the same idea, which is basically the way your hand. In fact, I'll show you something right now.
Okay. Yes. Here we are with Fren Asken, guitar chat number 37.
So I'm right in the middle of building a commission for a guy.
Okay.
And this is the neck. Right now it's really fat. I know he likes a trimmer neck. But what I often do is I will take off more shoulder, I guess you'd call it, on the treble side of the neck. So when you're grabbing a neck like this, your hand is going to be a certain shape. And the whole point is to make the neck fit your hand, not your hand fit the neck.
Yes,
so
that's
if you
right.
can make the neck fit the hand, you're not going to be thinking about the neck. You're not going to be thinking about how the neck feels, because it's going to already be comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay. That's a pretty nice idea. Let me ask you something that I always ask to every builder that it's been in this show. What's the percentage of tone that lays in the pickups as opposed to the wood? Could you tell me a percentage, like for instance, 60% wood, 40% pickets, or the other way around? What's your take on that?
There's two things that we're talking about here. One of them is tone.
Got it.
So if we're just talking about the tone, pretty much 90%, if not more, is going to be the pickup. Especially
tone.
The more drive you have on it, the more the pickup is taking over where the tone is coming from. What you get from the instrument is a different thing, and that usually has to do with sustain and with like how the attack is. So some guitars have a quicker feeling attack than others. A Telecaster, for example, has a very quick attack because there's nothing to it. It's just a metal, the string's going over a metal bar. It just goes straight into the wood, basically. Whereas on a Stratocaster, you have a whammy bar. You've got springs. You've got stuff that's going to suck up some of that immediacy to the attack.
Yeah.
So, and then there's sustain. So you may get a guitar that has no sustain and a really slow attack. And if you put a pickup on it, you're going to hear the tone of the pickup mostly, but you're going to notice the sustain and the attack.
Got it.
Really
so
the tone, that's a different thing.
It's more a matter of feel, no feeling. When you're playing, it's something you feel, maybe, right? When you're playing the guitar.
Yes, which is interesting. I was doing some work for Dwight Yoakam, and one of the things, he's very sensitive about how the guitar feels. he has his own custom set of strings because he wants certain tensions on certain strings. He likes the way the attack of the string is on certain guitars. Like he likes to play Epiphone elitist guitars, which are kind of like 330s, kind of like a 335 with no block in the middle. that has.
Okay.
So some people are very, very sensitive to those kind of things. And the work that I was doing, I had to make sure that I was able to maintain that sensitivity, because the way the hollow guitar responds to his picking is different than if there was a guitar with a block in it. So
got it.
one of the guitars that I was working on, I had to put a block in it to do some of the modifications that we were doing. And the attack was a little bit different than one of these other ones that didn't have it, you know. So people are very, very sensitive. It's incredible how sensitive people are to the littlest things.
Yeah, to the slightest change that you do to their guitars, right? They can notice, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, even just like the nut slots. If the nut slots are a little high, the whole guitar is going to feel high. You know, it's going to.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, it's going to feel high, and it's not going to be that comfortable to play. It's like and just a little bit, just, you know, we're talking about, you know, 1/100 of an inch, and you'll notice.
Got it. Well, I know you've worked for a lot of big names, you know, as I said before. Would you say those people are more demanding than the average guitar player, the normal guitar player that walks by your shop one day and it's like not someone famous? Would you say those are more demanding? I mean, the famous people you've worked for.
Yeah. Who stops by here sometimes is Billy Morrison stops by here sometimes. He plays with Billy Idol.
Okay.
Steve Stevens both play with Billy. Steve Stevens, I've worked on a lot of guitars as well.
Okay.
And both of those guys, they have certain things that they want in their instruments. And and I just try to make sure that I provide that, keep them happy, make sure everything is up to snuff and ready for a world tour.
That's right. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can feel a lot of responsibility, right, on your shoulders when you have that situation. I mean, when you're fixing a guitar for Steve Stevens, and you know, like 2 weeks from now he's gonna go on a world tour. You must feel the pressure.
Yeah, you want to make sure you get it right. That's absolutely true. And you know, over my nearly 20 years of doing this, there have been times where I didn't get it right, and I felt the heat for it afterwards. And you learn from your mistake, you know.
Well, that's part of the process, right? I mean, everyone makes mistakes. That's you know, musicians make mistakes all the time as well, you know, on the stage show. So that's completely normal.
Yeah, but I've been doing this, I think, long enough so that the people who know me and know what I can do, they trust me enough with their instruments.
That's awesome. Well, I'm pretty sure, you know, you have a huge credit, because I mean, that list of clients you have, not a lot of people have that list, you know. So I'm pretty sure that's I mean, those names speak for your credit as a luthier, you know, as a guitar technician. So that's awesome, man. I also wanted to ask you, have you ever had like a very old guitar, or like a very legendary guitar that was played in a legendary record? Can you tell me something about that?
I've had a few really cool instruments in here over the years, and I can't remember what some of them. One of them, in fact, was brought in by Ingber.
Okay.
He brought a bass in. Ira is a Vegatrem player.
Yes,
He brought
I know. Well, we had
bass
him on the show. I remember
right,
we had him. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he brought in a bass one time that was used on one of Joe Cocker's hits, and
Okay.
it's this ugly bass, the ugly color, but that's the one
Yeah.
that was like on what was it, Friends, what was it, that Beatles song, I think is what it was that he sang. Get by with a little help from our friends, or one of those songs.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay. Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
one of those
Nice.
that he had. But
What?
every once in a while you'll get an interesting instrument like that in here, or just other instruments that have other kinds of provenance. There's a great guitar tech out there named Takumi who has worked for everybody. He worked for Prince for 9 years. He worked for AC/DC. He was just working with Greta Van Fleet, and he calls me up one day and he says, I need to get a new nut put on a guitar for Richie Sambora. He's playing on the Craig Kilborn show tonight or something like that. So he comes over
Wow.
with a gig bag over his shoulder,
Yeah.
and I open the gig bag and I pull out this beautiful, what looks like a reissue 59 Les Paul, and I'm looking at it. This is a really great reissue. Wait a second here. And I just realized that this was like a real 59 Les Paul that he just brought over in a gig bag. And it's like, it's worth, my insurance won't cover this, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like $350,000 guitar, and he wants me to put a new nut on it. So I couldn't get the thing out of here fast enough. But I got to sit down and play it for a few minutes. We put a new
Of
nut on
course.
it, and it was out of here. So every once in a while, you get some really neat instruments. I have an instrument in here that was really incredible. It was a 1939 Martin D18 that was owned by a guy who used to play at a restaurant hotel in Albuquerque, New Mexico in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s.
Okay.
And apparently, Albuquerque was a place where a lot of Hollywood stars go at the time during that era. So he ended up getting people to sign his guitar. And he had signed signatures from Gregory Peck and Burl Ives and Jane Mansfield, and then he went around with the governor of the state as a goodwill ambassador, and he got signatures from Ronald Reagan and
Wow.
Richard Nixon and Pat Nixon, but it was also like Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash and Eric Clapton and Chuck Berry, but also it had signatures from Beyonce and Billy Bob Thornton and
Wow.
other actors like Dennis Hopper, and it just went on. There were hundreds and hundreds of signatures, and they're all scratched in with like pencil or pen, not
Oh,
with
wow.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
getting this out, right? I mean, even Charlie Chaplin signed his guitar.
What?
Literally hundreds of signatures. There was hardly any place for another signature. Glenn Campbell, and just went on, and Doris Day, and oh my God, it just went on and on and on. And I couldn't even put a price on it. The reason he brought it to me was because it was broken right where Ronald Reagan signed it, so I had to fix that.
Okay.
How do you put a price on that?
Yeah, that's
that's probably $20,000 just for the guitar.
yeah. That's incredible, man. That's
all those signatures on, some of those signatures are incredibly difficult to get. Chuck Berry never signed anything.
yeah. He wasn't very very prone to be signing things right to people. It was kind of difficult for him. Well, that's that's pretty interesting. That's pretty amazing, man. I'm pretty sure you have a lot of stories to tell because of course you are in the middle of LA. So do you think the music business in LA is what it used to be, or not? What's your take on that?
Well, I can tell you that uh, every good repairman I know in Los Angeles is busy.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that last phrase. Sorry.
I said every good repairman in Los Angeles that I know is busy.
Oh, okay. So that's a good sign, right?
Yeah, I mean, throughout this entire pandemic, the last 2 years, I have been just as busy as I have ever been.
Okay.
I think a lot of people, and in fact, last year was Fender's best year ever.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, probably because of the lockdown, everybody was like, "Well, I'm gonna learn to play guitar," right?
Yeah, right. It's like, I might as well now that I'm not playing, I might as well get them fixed, or I might as well learn guitar, whatever it is, And so everyone was busy. Every guitar repair shop that I know is hammered with stuff. Some places aren't even taking business right now because they're so busy.
Oh,
and
wow.
There are times when I want to do that too. I wanted to say, I can't take anything. I need to get through my stuff,
Nice.
But I think that has to do with this particular town. This is a real guitar town.
Yeah.
And there's so many guitar players in this town. There are so many great guitar players in this town.
Oh yeah, I mean it's unbelievable.
All the repairmen seem to be busy.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. Well, it's time to talk about the discount code. I'm gonna say the discount code for tonight. You guys know that you can go to the website and use it to your VT1 purchase. So tonight's code is Fren37 Asken, all in lower caps. So FREN 37 ASKEN. Fren Asken. Fren 37 Asken, okay, with the numbers. I'm gonna say it in Spanish, okay, just for a minute. Okay, el código de descuento de esta noche es Fren 37 Asken, todo en minúsculas, okay? Fren 37 Asken en minúsculas. Okay, that's the code for tonight. I hope you guys can use it. So, well, thank you very much, Fren, for doing this, man. It's been a pleasure. I hope you had fun. I hope you had a good time with us today.
Yeah, great time. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great. Are you coming to NAMM show in the summer?
I probably will be there. If there's a NAMM show, I will probably at least show up.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to have a booth there this year, but I think I'll be. I can't help. I'm a kid in a candy store.
Of course, yes. like all of us. Well, if you show up, please make sure you say hi to us, and we can hang out. We can maybe jam together. That would be nice.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yes. That would be awesome. Okay, so that's gonna be all for tonight. Thank you again, Fren, for being with us, and to the rest of you guys, thanks for tuning in with us. Remember, every other Thursday we're doing this. So please, till then, be happy, be safe, play a lot your guitar, and please let be some peace out in the world because we need it. Thank you, friend. Take care, man.
Thank you.